As far as maintaining, obviously Lockheed Martin has been doing Lean specifically for a number of years, but before that there was a culture of excellence. How do you maintain your focus and that attention to quality, etc., over a long time frame? And obviously the knowing the customer is part of that, but actually the day-to-day level in the in the assembly process and all that. How do you do that?
We'll talk about CAP and corrective action board.
Okay. One of the things that we do is we have different organizations, different groups looking at each level of the program, focusing on quality issues and driving those. So it starts at each level and gets driven on down. To kind of keep that focus, the teams that we're on, you have the metrics that are kind of an incentive. You get the rewarded if you achieve your metrics. Mel already touched on, the closeness with the people that we're working for. There are posters up all over our plant that show a picture of, this is Sergeant John Smith, brother of MFC Orlando employee, Jim Smith. And we kind of keep that focus. We bring them in for a lot of visits. And also, too, I would say that when I joined the company, I had a couple of choices on where I wanted to go. And Missiles and Fire Control was already such a well-run and already had a level of excellence, so that's appealing. So I would say that excellence a lot of times breeds additional excellence because people are drawn to that and they want to continue to keep those high levels of quality. I mean, you'll hear programs that have different mottos about how we do not miss delivery, or we don't let things get out, and a lot of people take pride in that, and personally, I think it just kind of helps continue and keep the ball rolling.
The other thing, every failure that we have, whether it's in the factory or in the field, goes into a corrective action database. And we go through a formal corrective action process that goes through an analysis that gets us the root cause in corrective action. And that's built into our day-to-day process. And a combination of performance management teams, and maybe I should expand a little bit more on that. I told you about, they're broken down, each one has metrics. The teams are led by first-line supervisor. Those supervisors are, every year they negotiate what the goals are going to be depending on what's happening that year. Example would be if they're a brand new program that's just being introduced, their goals may be different than they were the previous year as they were on a very mature program. So it would be different from year to year. But then the teams are ranked based on their performance. There's scores that they get for cost, quality, schedule, and there's a whole series of within those cost, quality, and schedule metrics that they measure. They get rewarded points, and those points then have the teams rated. They're rated platinum, gold, silver, bronze, and management focus. And of course, you don't want to be management focused. The system we put in place then generates the charts that represent that. The teams come off the floor on a weekly basis to a PMT meeting where the teams go over the metrics. They are a way of really driving change because they look at them, they analyze why a metric is not being met or why a metric is being more than met, and then they'll take action. If it's a metric, if they're exceeding a metric, they'll take a challenge to the goal. And I'll explain a little later why that's important. And if they're not being met, they'll put a corrective action plan in place that will help them get there. And then at the end of the month, they are rated platinum, gold, silver, bronze, etc. And then they're recognized each month for those platinum teams because we have PMT of the month breakfast where the whole team will come up, and it's usually 8 or 9, 10 teams that will come up because they're ranked platinum of about 40 teams or so in Orlando, and the team lead or the designee will come up, and the top groups of the management team, the directors and VPs are there, and they get a chance to say, hey, this is what we did to make our ranking. And then on a quarterly basis, they're rewarded. We have a program where, depending on how their quarterly rating is, they get rewarded with a gift card. The gift card goes to everybody within that team, and it's an equal amount. Whether you're a production operator, you're the supervisor, you're the quality engineer, it's all the same. So the team is certainly incentivized to drive continuous improvement. The corrective action board then works with the team to drive root cause and corrective action so that we always look at continual improvement. And then once it's in the field, we look at mean time between failure so that when the product's out there, we have a predicted failure rate based on the number of hours that's being used. And we pay very close attention to that. And if we get any dip in that, we understand what that is and roll that back into both the program team and the ops team, which then drives more corrective action. So it's kind of a loop system, a feedback system that continually drives quality improvement.